So in the last video, we were discussing about daffodils, the first paragraph. And may I ask you some question? First question is, where were the daffodils? The answer is, the daffodils were beside the lake and beneath the trees. What were they doing? They were fluttering and dancing in the breeze. What do you mean by breeze? Breeze is gentle wind. Breeze means gentle wind. So all these we had discussed in the last video. So today we are going to discuss about the second stanza. So in the second stanza, the poet tells that continuous as the stars that shine. So the daffodils were shining like the stars, and they were again continuous as the stars. So here the daffodils are compared to the stars. So they were continuous. Continuity is described. Continuity of the daffodils is compared with the continuity of the stars. What is compared with what aspect? The continuity of the daffodils is compared to the continuity of the stars. So here, which figure of speech can you tell me? Which figure of speech is used here? Here again, a simile is used. Figure of speech is simile. What is a simile? A simile is a figure of speech that compares two unlike things using like or as. If like or as is not used, then what figure of speech that is known as? That is known as a metaphor, but here it is a simile. So the continuity of the stars is compared with the continuity of the daffodils. So the daffodils were continuous. They were close to each other. They were very compact. They were very near to each other, and there was no discontinuity. There was no break in their existence. They were located, they bloomed very close to each other. That is why continuous, like the stars, there is no much difference, much distance, although there is a lot of difference, lot of distance between stars, but when we look at them, they appear to be very close to each other. In the same way, the daffodils appear to be very close to each other, and that is why the poet describes them to be continuous. Like what? Like the stars. Which stars? The stars in the Milky Way. And which stars? Those stars that shine and twinkle. Shine and twinkle. The stars shine and they twinkle. In the same way, the daffodils are also shining and twinkling. Where do the stars twinkle? They twinkle in the Milky Way. Milky Way, and the arm of the Milky Way is something like elliptical, the arc of a circle. In the same way, the daffodils are placed or they bloomed on the margin of a bay, and which is in an arc, formation of an arc, like a crescent moon. Crescent moon, do you know what a crescent moon is? Just before new moon day, the moon is very fine. That is known as crescent moon. So the daffodils have formed like a half circle. In that shape, they are present on the margin of a bay, and therefore the daffodils are described as daffodils, just like the stars in the Milky Way. The daffodils are also on the margin of a bay, and they stretched in never-ending line. So they stretched, they spanned, they extended, stretched, extended in never-ending line. They extended in never-ending line. So they extended in such a way that the poet could not see the end of the daffodils. Where did they end? He did not know, he did not see. But is that true? Can't you see the end of the daffodils? Can't you see the end of something? We can see the end of the earth. It will join near the horizon. But how the poet was unable to see the daffodils? So here he is trying to convince us that the daffodils are expanding very far away, not unending, but they have expanded very far. Not that they have never ended. So this line is an exaggeration. What is it? It is an exaggeration. Exaggeration. What is an exaggeration? Telling something which is more than true, more than the truth. That is exaggeration. Take for example, if I will tell, I have a dog which killed a tiger and it can fight with a tiger. So this is an exaggeration. A dog cannot fight a tiger. A dog cannot kill a tiger. But if I am telling that I have a dog which is as big as a tiger, or it had killed a tiger, then it is an exaggeration. It is talking something more than the truth. So here is also an exaggeration. So this type of exaggeration is known as hyperbole. What is it known as? Hyperbole. So what is a hyperbole? A hyperbole is a figure of speech in which the poet exaggerates things, isn't it? The poet exaggerates. So here the poet uses an exaggeration, and that figure of speech is known as hyperbole. So what is a hyperbole? A hyperbole is a figure of speech that exaggerates, which represents the truth in a different way, in a very exaggerated way. So that is a hyperbole. So here, the stressed in never-ending line, the poet uses a hyperbole. So where the daffodils, they were along the margin of a bay. What is a bay? A bay is that part. A bay is that part of the water body which has entered into the land. So we have seen Bay of, we have heard about the Bay of Bengal, the Bay of Gulf, the Bay of Mexico. So here, bay means a water body that has entered into the land mass. The water body which has penetrated, entered into the land mass, that is a bay. So how can you think that the lake had a bay? So the lake is a water body, and at the corner of the bay, at a corner of the lake, if the daffodils are there, then obviously that corner has entered into the landmass. On the three sides of the water body, there is land. So obviously the bay is the bay of the lake, not any bay. So along the margin of a sea, you cannot see daffodils. So it is obviously a lake. On the bay of a lake, the daffodils are located. And again, 10,000 saw I at a glance. So here again, the poet uses a hyperbole. Here the poet again uses a hyperbole. Why is it a hyperbole? Because the poet tells that he saw 10,000 daffodils at a glance. When you see something, you do not count. When you are mesmerized by something, then you do not count those numbers. The number of the things you are looking at, you do not count. But the poet is counting, and how big this number is. 10,000. You cannot wait somebody count till 10,000. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 till 100. You will be very much tired to count. But did the poet really count the number of daffodils? Obviously not. So just he is trying to convince the reader about the number of daffodils. They were innumerable. So here the poet tries to convince the reader that there were innumerable daffodils, and just to convince the readers, the poet tries to tell that they were 10,000 in number. 10,000 saw I at a glance. So here 10,000, the number 10,000 is not exactly the number of daffodils, but at a glance, at one sight, when you throw a glance, then whatever area you cover, that is a glance. So in one glance means one vision. When he opens the eye, the area covered by both of his eyes is known as that glance. So in one glance, he can see 10,000. In the second glance, he can see another 10,000. In the third glance, another 10. Wherever he throws his glance, there he can see 10,000. So here, he doesn't count, but he doesn't count the number. Here, just he is telling a number to convince the reader that he saw, the poet saw, innumerable daffodils. Innumerable daffodils. So here, which figure of speech? Hyperbole. And what were the daffodils doing? They were tossing their heads in sprightly dance. Again, personification. So as the children tossed their heads, the daffodils were tossing their heads in sprightly dance. Sprightly means lively, happy, joyful, joyful, cheerful, cheerful, energetic, energetic. So they were dancing very energetically. Who? The daffodils. So this is the second paragraph, and the third paragraph we will discuss in the next video. Thank you.